Good morning. We are the Bioimics team, and today we will be presenting our second presentation on the Bioimics company. During this presentation, we will be discussing why Bioimics is so unique and eventually provide some new information that we found after the first presentation, and then give our suggestions and recommendations. So the presentation is divided in two main parts. In the first part, we will be talking about some general information about Bioimics, like their business strategy, their unique selling point, and a SWOT analysis that we have conducted. Then we'll start with the new information that we found by doing multiple interviews, and the subjects are outsourcing, patenting, networking, image of the company, and financing. And then we'll give a conclusion. So, a Bioimics company. The company is located in Uppsala University, where it benefits from the facilities that are available here at the university. The main goal of Bioimics is to develop antibiotics by using novel targets, and for their first project, this novel target is RNA-sp. The company has 3 core employees, and these that here in Uppsala, and these employees are the CEO, the medicinal chemist, which designs the molecule that could possibly target RNA-sp, and a lab technician that does some research work in the beginning and the end phases after designing and synthesizing the molecule. But the most of the research is done by outsourcing. Outsourcing is hiring other companies to do the research work, because these companies are specialized in this research field and also have the right facilities to conduct the research. So to give a short product development timeline, Bioimics started by determining a target, in this case RNA-sp. Then they found a candidate molecule, they improved the molecule, run some early trials, and then they will eventually sell this molecule to a bigger company because they don't have the funds to do the clinical trials, and a bigger company is better equipped to create this molecule into a drug. So our unique selling point. Why is Bioimics so unique? Well, it actually starts with the CEO that has a lot of experience in the field of RNA studies, and this is because he has been in this field for 25 years. That's how they found RNA-sp as a novel target. And also because the company is investing their money into research. Instead of hiring manpower and creating a company here in Uppsala, right now they are initially investing their money into high quality research by outsourcing, and in that way obtaining great results. But back to the RNA-sp. Why is this an important or a great, amazing antibiotic target? Well, that is because antibiotic is the only company right now that is using RNA-sp as a target, so we don't have, Bioimics doesn't have any competitors. Also, because it's a novel target, resistance development is significantly lower. RNA-sp is also organism specific. So the RNA-sp found in prokaryotes differs from the RNA-sp found in eukaryotes. So if we design a molecule to target a specific bacterial strain, it won't affect the human body. RNA-sp has a role in translation, where it causes the tRNA to mature. In that way, you can deliver amino acids to the translational process. But if you deactivate RNA-sp, the translational process will be blocked, and the pathogen will eventually die. This is done by the metal mimic concepts. So RNA-sp has a few magnesium ions that have an important role in its stabilization. By replacing these, the enzyme will unfold and be deactivated. Then we did a SWOT analysis on the company by looking at some internal and external factors. When looking at the internal factors, the strengths of the company is that the project requires less resources because they're mainly outsourcing. Also, their strong scientific background is a very good point and very important for this company because, like I said before, the CEO has a lot of knowledge in this field. When we look at the weaknesses of the company, it is actually that they are very small, unknown, have no track record, and this is mainly because the RNA-SPE project is their first big project. When looking at external factors, opportunities that we have in right now, the Bioimics has right now, is that antibiotic resistance is still increasing. So there is still an issue that needs a solution, and Bioimics could probably deliver that solution. Also, they are talking about regulatory fast tracks. So since we already know that there will be some kind of antibiotic crisis, they are talking right now about maybe making it easier to develop a drug and getting it on the market. But certain threats that the company has is that still financing. The company needs more investors so they can get more money to conduct their research, and the market is difficult. If a market is not profitable, it will be harder to find investors to invest money.
Okay, now that Celia has refreshed your memory regarding what Bioimics does, let me start the second part with a quote. If you don't know, you should ask. You may be a fool for a moment, but a wise man for the rest of your life. It's supposedly Seneca who said that, but then again, it's a quote of the internet, so no one knows. In any case, it is exactly what we did. To gain more knowledge into Bioimics and the field in general, we went out and asked people. We talked to the people at Bioimics, obviously. We talked to some researchers, both in Sweden and in China, to get a different perspective of how they look at antibiotic resistance. And we also approached governments, in particular it was the European Commission, and looked into what they want to do. And now what I'm going to present is sort of the output and the recommendations based on that. Okay, first thing that we talked about, it was outsourcing and patenting. For that, we chose Olivia Tolan at Uppsala University Innovation Office, if you know them. And basically, we presented the Bioimics approach. And what she said is that what they're doing is definitely a good way to reduce costs. But she did also talk about the risks that come with outsourcing, and it's mainly that you lose control of what you're doing, and at the same time you don't learn as much, because since you can't physically do it, you don't have that competence in your company. So this is an outline of what they do. They do biological characterization and chemical synthesis in India, and then they do animal testing in Taiwan, China. Why in China? Well, the trick with animal testing is that Sweden is kind of like, well, nice to animals, which is good, at the same time expensive. So a lot of companies choose to conduct these animal studies somewhere else, simply because of the cost. Okay, moving on to the second topic we discussed with Olivia, it was patenting. If you're a biotech company, you don't really have all the cash in the world, so you need to choose the countries in which you patent, because you're always doing it separately. It always has a cost, right? So that's what Bioimics did. They chose countries that are interesting. You usually go for large countries that have important markets. I think in case of Bioimics, it was countries like France, Germany, then they went for Northern America as well. Which again was confirmed to be a good approach by Olivia. What she also said is that it's good to invest a lot into a patenting lawyer, because quite often companies halfway try to do it on their own, and that way they lose the advantages that come from having a patenting lawyer, which is mainly the contact network they have, generally the advice they can give on what's the best strategy. They know the competition, they know all the other people in the field. So when it comes to contacts, it's good to know a good patent lawyer. Okay, moving on to networking, which is another important part of having a biotech company. Because as Celia was telling you, What you want to do is that eventually you want to exit. You want to sell the project, you want to sell the entire company, and the investor in this case, or like the buyer, is a big pharma company, and you need to find them somewhere. So opportunities for that would, for example, be the JP Morgan, which is a big networking business event taking place in the US that connects potential investors with people having some sort of know-how, ideas, startup companies. Then it's obviously biotech conferences. Bio Europe would be an example of what we have here in our context. And then we also have different websites and newspaper-like media. Example of that is quite new startup, La Biotech. And they publish these like little, let's say, company descriptions. And it's one way that Bioimics could potentially go for to increase the PR, so the investors would find out about them. While still being on the subject of investors and the PR of the company, we believe that it's good to keep a good company image. When it comes to Bioimics, they do have a good company image, which comes from the expertise they have. They have researchers, they have